On MTD CNC, we commonly get requests and engineers asking us about tool vending. I've travelled to the West Midlands today to one of our customers, IVTS, where we're going to learn a lot more about this product. So Simon, we're going to look at two models of machines here. The first is the eVend Touch. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, certainly. This is our entry-level to mid-range machine. We've changed the machine now so it's completely PC interfaced with a touchscreen. As you can see, we can brand the machine physically, but also through the software.
Okay, and what's the audience for this type of machine?
It's either a smaller engineering company, or it can be a large company where they can't justify the expense of some of the systems that are on the market.
So, I'm a small subcontractor. This machine's going to cost me, what, £5,500, I think you mentioned earlier. What's the justification for that?
So the benefit for that investment is going to be control of your product. It's also going to be control of the purchase orders as well. So you won't need to make a manual purchase order to your supplier. The system will do all that for you. But more importantly, you can see exactly who and what job has used what product.
And there's a distinct difference between investing in a machine through IVTS as to some other suppliers in the fact that you actually buy this machine. You don't give these machines out, you buy this machine, which enables you to fill it with whatever product you like. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. You're not led by any manufacturer or supplier. What it gives you the benefit of is controlling your own product and managing the suppliers that you have. There's no need for integration, the software creates that for you.
And what about ease of use? Again, one of the things that you would think of is, okay, I can buy the machine, but how easy is it going to be to integrate into my shop floor?
Yeah, so what we've focused on with the software is, from the interface side, it needs to be nice and easy to use, but we've also got a nice software at the back end that will enable you to make any changes to product in the machine, employees, reorder levels, and so on. We're pretty focused, and it needs to be a really simple software so that people can use exactly what they want.
And from my experience of a small machine shop, you tend to find the owner or the director is the one in charge of ordering all the consumables and the products. I suppose with a system like this, that eliminates that.
Yeah, certainly, and you know the owner is generally the most expensive person on site. So what we can do is get the machine to make that automatic report and just save that cost straight away.
And how many sort of tool vend pockets can you have on this particular, on the eVend?
So on this machine you've got maximum of 70, but once we put the touchscreen on here we can then duplicate machines on the side of it as slaves. So from the one touchscreen we can operate a number of machines. All we have to do is just make sure we don't create a queuing point. Okay,
so in addition to the cost savings and the reorder, is the reordering of stock automated as well?
That's correct, yeah. So we run on a min-max level. And when you've got your reorder points, the machine will automatically send a report through to create what's needed to replenish the machine. We also support order quantity, so that we're not ordering part packs of carbide inserts, for instance. We would only order 10s or 5s or whatever quantity of those parts are ordered in.
And would it be right to say that if you had a specific job or a specific drawing number and you made that component, you would be able to go back and see the costs associated with that component that you've used from the tool vend machine? Yeah,
certainly. We can track against a number of different data levels. So we could have works order number, or we could have part number as well. So that way then we can track against a part number that's continuously running, or batch by batch for different quantities.
So if I was the owner of a company, firstly, it would save me having to do any reordering. Secondly, I would be able to look at the data and potentially be able to analyse what a part is costing me to make through this machine.
Correct.
Okay, so that would save me those two factors.
Entirely, yeah.
And more. And the cost we've spoke about already, £5,500, that's installed into your machine shop?
That's correct, yes.
Training?
We offer training as an additional cost. So we charge £285 a day for the training, and there's a subscription to the software as well online. That's £20 a month.
Okay, and I would imagine that once you do have a system like this in place, or a tool vend machine like this in place, you do become quite reliant on it with the savings that it's going to make for you. What happens if it breaks down, or do you have engineers that can come out and quickly respond?
Yeah, we're one of the few that have our own engineers, and we've done that just so we can make a quick response. We offer either service contracts, or we offer ad hoc service as well, so you can just pay as you need it. We don't force anybody into a contract. However, if that's what you want, then we can support that also.
So Simon, let's see the machine in action. Can you do a cycle for us?
Yeah, certainly. So as we said earlier, the machine's completely touchscreen controlled, which gives us benefits on how we collect the data. Because of it being a Windows 7 PC, we can use USB interfaces, so we can use mag swipe, barcode, proximity, fingerprint recognition, or we can just simply type in our user ID and a PIN number for security. The machine then knows that I've logged into the system. We can search against a product, and if I just put part of a keyword in and say OK, it will list any item that's got that string in there. And when I select the product and say OK, the machine will then issue the product.
So Simon, if I had a product that was too big for for the Helix in this machine, what would I do?
Okay, so what we've got here is the machine that's slaved on the side of the master machine. This machine's designed for oversized products. So what it enables us to do is put products such as the latex gloves, ear defenders, the dust masks. We can configure the machine up to 10 products wide, or we could even have the whole shelf just running one product out of there. So it's a really flexible machine on how it operates. It actually runs these little conveyor belts rather than the spirals, so we're not limited by the width of the product, and we've also got the elevation on there so that we're not dropping product from the top shelf. So delicate product as well as bulky product is ideal for this machine.
So can we see this in action?
Certainly, it's still run off the same touch screen, so it's running off my credentials still. I can search for the gloves, for instance, or use the keyword search, and then when I say OK on the screen, the machine will go and fetch it. What it actually does is vends the product until it sees it drop into the bin. So we confirm that the product's in there, and then it allows the product to be issued from the bin.
So in essence, what we're doing with running the slave alongside the master is we're trying to cater for as many products as we can in the vending system.
Certainly. There's also a cost advantage because once we've got the touchscreen in there as the master, the slave machines are slightly less.
So how many slaves can you have off of the one master?
Realistically, up to probably 30, I think 32 is the maximum. The problem you get is when you get over 4 or maybe 5, then it becomes a queuing point. You get so much traffic through one screen. That's what we need to try and avoid.
What about the weight limit for the slave?
Okay, so the actual weight limit per shelf is 30 kilos. But again, because it's generally bulky item, weight doesn't tend to be an issue.
So with the EvenTouch, we've got the master and we've got the slave. What can you have in addition? Okay,
so in addition we can offer lockers to automate dispense of even larger product. We can put a drawer system that's provided by Lister with part control or drawer control. And we can also put a caged area on the side of the machine as well with an electronic door for large items such as oil absorbent, those sort of products, fixtures even, and other ranges of tooling. So it's pretty flexible in what we can add to the side of the machine.
So I consider the tool vend to be one of the most undersold products in the UK and in machine shops. And I think the message I'm trying to get across here to engineers that are going to be watching this video, the ones that don't have it, that what they're missing out on. So talk me through the benefits once again and the cost of this is going to be to them.
Okay, so the cost is around £5,500. That's going to cost you around £165 a month for a lease. 3 boxes of inserts, that's really going to cover that initial cost. From that point forward, you're going to be making cost savings. When you look at the data that's stored in the system, there's so much that you can take from that data, and if it's your own system, you can build it into your business system and ensure that everything is running to how you want it.
So a vital part of the solution is obviously the software. Can you talk me through how it works?
Yeah, certainly. So we've tried to keep the software as clean and as easy to use as possible and automated. What we have is a hierarchy within the software so that a distributor can view a number of machines. A local area sales guy could view just his related machines, and the customer can have a username just to view their own machine. So we can put different levels in place, even within companies. We can have users that can only view the machine that they're responsible for. So the way that we do that is to log into the software and with the password. So when we log into the software, the first thing we do is send you to the reports page. And the reason is because that's generally what people want to do as a first task. So what I can do here is I can choose a date range if I just want to run an ad hoc report. I can choose a machine that's filtered, and when I press update, that's going to return back for the date range any transactions that have taken place.
So anything that I've used or anything that I've purchased?
Okay, so that's anything that's been issued from the machine, issued transactions. So you can see we have it in pack quantity with a unit price, with a total price, and there's also a column here for job number as well. The headers are live, so if I choose one of the headers, it will regroup the results opposing to that header. And what we've also done here is we've put a summary button on. So if I hit summary, what we do is summarise that view into product location and group the total users as well, so it makes it a more concise report.
So you could look at the software would be able to tell you what you're using a lot of, what you're using too much of. Could you compare month to month how much usage you've got?
Yes, you can, yeah. And what you can do with this data is as soon as you know, or as soon as you've exported the date range that you want, you can hit export to CSV and it'll pull it straight into Excel for you. So if you want to do any more detailed analysis of that data, we can push it straight into Excel, and you've got all the tools of Excel to use as well.
So the customer who owns the machine has access to be able to see what he's using and the quantities of what he's using and over the period of time. Equally, a distributor then has his login where he can go in to see whether he needs to refill.
That's correct. Yeah, so we run min-max levels on the system. So the machine can automatically, or the system can automatically run a reorder report against each machine, against each supplier.
So if you were a customer and you had a machine and you had 3 distributors that you were using to fill that machine, you'd be able to basically say distributor 1, there's an order for this, distributor 2, distributor 3 and so forth.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. When we look at managing the machine and we choose the machine, we can change these custom fields here to be able to update the report headers. So if I save this and then I go into locations and choose the location again, this has now been updated in the custom field area. We've also then got the area for the employees, and we've got the area to manage the stock within the machine.
So I'm a precision engineer. I'm very tempted in the event solution. I'm close to placing an order, but I'm just interested in the return on my investment. I need to know how quickly I'm going to get payback. Do you have any tools that you can use to show me that?
Yeah, certainly. We've got a return on investment calculator that we can either use to substantiate our case to the owner, or if it's a larger company, we can share this with the engineer trying to push the system into a site to support against his managers. In its simplest form, what we're looking at is an annual usage, and we state anywhere between 20 and 40% cost reduction on usage is where we're going to be looking at, dependent on where the current situation is with control.
So there's a saving, so product usage, so just on product usage alone, you can save 20%.
Entirely. So if we look at a turnover or a usage annually of 60,000, which would be 5,000 a month, on 20%, that's going to offer 12,000 per year saving. And if we go through not taking in anything into account, such as increased use of regrinds, stock out reduction with same day deliveries, walk time, even if we just take into account the potential cost saving, we're going to be looking at a payback there within 6 months.
Therefore, I'm convinced.
Thank you.